Dạ.
Đi xin lỗi, bố lục cho ngô à.
Gái à.
Ok.
Hai nước không?
Dạ, dạ.
Ai có người già nổi nước không?
Có nè.
Hai nước này căng. Ai làm gì đây vậy?
Nước đó, giờ mới lọc nước nè. Hello. Để thứ hai em ghé lấy. Bận biểu quá. boy.
Yeah, so be happy to address those questions.
Go to Texas. There's not a whole lot of home days in Texas.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like,
Okay, well, thank you so much.
I'm not going to put up, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here for 10 years.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is just some vouchers. All right. So, thank you. Introduce ourselves?
Anna,
Yeah.
we
I
came.
know you were starting to introduce yourself, so
Anna is going to interpret for us because I don't speak Vietnamese, neither does Adele. So Anna is going to interpret to us. We're glad that all of you are here to hear the person who represents you in this district. Good guy, and I think that you will have the opportunity to question him on things that you think are important in your community. Because he's at City Hall to actually fight for you. That's his job, to make sure that this district and all the district that he supports or he represents, that they get the things that they need out of City Hall. And when you go down to City Hall to see him, he's always there to answer your questions. So I'm going to introduce Abel, and Anna will be the interpreter. He's probably going to say a few words to you. And when you ask him questions, if you don't speak English very well, Anna will interpret for you. Abel. Oh, you want to introduce everybody?
yeah. So thank you all for coming. Yeah, why don't we start with this?
Start right over here. Introduce yourself.
My name is Kimai,
Kimai.
and I live in Oakland at 4th Avenue.
4th Avenue.
Kimai, 4th Avenue.
I'm May, and I live in Vietnam.
May lives right over here. Okay. And you are?
113 Avenue, Oakland, California.
Great.
Next one.
Great. And you, my dear?
Yeah, 112.
Okay.
546 is 11.
And what's your name?
My name is James Howe.
Okay. And you, sir?
5th Avenue,
Okay.
International.
Okay. And you, sir?
What is your name?
What's your name? Okay. Good to meet you.
My name is Mala. I live in this America.
Okay. And you, sir?
So why don't we gather just a little bit closer over here?
Yeah, just come a little closer.
Yeah.
We're asking you to give us your names.
So,
And for those of you who haven't seen me in this neighborhood, I'm here a lot, and my name is Merlin.
What's your position?
What am I? I'm actually a consultant. I don't work for him.
You're a neighborhood.
Well, actually, I do work for him to get him elected, but I don't work for the city.
You're just a neighborhood.
No, I don't live in the neighborhood, but I'm concerned about the neighborhood.
So thank you everyone for coming. My name is Abel Guillen. I want to thank Lynn, Merlin, Anna. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to have a little conversation with you. We know the election is a few days away. And there is Mr. Phuc Tran on his way over here. Hey Phuc. Yeah. Okay. So I want to say thank you all for being here. I've been in office for 4 years, and it's been a great honor to represent District 2, the most diverse district in Oakland. So I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My dad is from Mexico, and my mom is from Nicaragua. And my parents are immigrants here. And so my dad was a hotel worker, and my mom was a dishwasher for a long time. What they wanted for us was to make sure that we went to school and go to college. So I was fortunate to become the first in my family to graduate from UC Berkeley.
Wow.
Chào mọi người, đây là ông Abel Guillen, hiện là đang là nghị viên của khu vực này, và bây giờ ông ấy muốn tiếp tục ra ứng cử để làm tiếp 4 năm nữa. Ông muốn nói một chút xíu về ông. Ba ông là
Hotel worker, you're retired now, pastry chef.
ok. Ba ông ngày xưa là làm cho công nhân hotel là khách sạn.
a dishwasher.
Còn mẹ ổng là người rửa chén.
And so, so I became the first in my family to graduate from college. I went to UC Berkeley, and I became a financial advisor. So I help sell bonds for school districts up and down California. And so I have a background in finance, and that's what I bring to the city council.
Ông ra trường là UC Berkeley, ở UC Berkeley, và ổng là financial
Cố vấn tài chính.
làm về cố vấn tài chính.
Yeah. And so on the city council, my job has been to advocate for the neighborhood, advocate for the small businesses, and try to bring resources to our community. The biggest issues facing us are housing, affordable housing, homelessness, and trying to fix our streets and improve public safety.
Ông Abel, ông nói ông là một người nói chung là tranh đấu cho cộng đồng, tranh đấu cho quyền lợi và luôn luôn đem được những cái nguồn mà nói chung là tài trợ các vị.
So the last 4 years, we made a lot of progress. I know one of the things that this community that I have a large problem with is all the illegal dumping and garbage that gets dumped here in our district. It's not good for the kids, it's not good for the neighborhood, it's not good for business. So this last budget cycle, I'm happy to say we got about $10 million in the budget to hire more illegal dumping crews and to provide more services for homeless people, to get people out of the streets and into shelters and support services.
Tôi đã nói là 4 năm vừa qua nói chung là ông làm việc rất là nói chung là năng nổ rất là và cũng có nhiều sự tiến bộ, mà ông cũng biết là sự khó khăn bây giờ là vấn đề mà rác đổ đầy trên thành phố này nọ, nhưng mà ông có vừa nói ông tìm được một cái nguồn tài trợ của từ thành phố là 10 triệu Mỹ Kim, thì ông sẽ mướn thêm nhiều người để đi dọn rác trên thành phố.
So we have a short term around homelessness and housing. We have a short term, mid term, and long term solution around housing. Right now we're putting up the city. We have about, in our district, in District 2, we have about 238 people that are homeless in our neighborhood. And so we're trying to get people out of the streets and into services. So we just put up a tough shed encampment over by the lake. And we're going to transition those people from the streets and tents into the tough sheds and then into more permanent housing. The tough sheds are temporary to get people out of the streets and into more permanent housing. And so we know that that works, and it has about a 65% success rate in getting people from the streets and into services and housing. And the big thing that we need to do is actually build more housing. So there's a vacant parcel on East 12th that people are camping out right now. But that's going to be 300 units of housing, and 30% of the housing is going to be affordable for the community.
Ok, ông đưa là cái sự khó khăn bây giờ là tạm thời là cái vấn đề mà nhà cửa thì nó đang thiếu nhà, với vấn đề mà những người vô dân cư thì trong khu vực này đây thì có chừng khoảng 138 gia đình là hiện giờ không có nhà ở, thì hiện giờ họ đang ở những cắm trại, những cái vùng xung quanh, thì tương lai thì ông đang tìm cách để chuyển người này vào những cái căn nhà nhỏ nhỏ, và sau đó vận chuyển họ đến những căn hộ mà họ có thể ở đó là vĩnh viễn luôn. Và cuối đường I-12 này thì đã có một đất trống, họ sắp sửa là xây là 300 căn hộ đó, thì trong đó sẽ dành 30% cho những người mà có lợi thấp.
So in terms of public safety, that's another big concern. Is right now we have allocated. Maybe over here. Sorry, loud. Maybe go inside then? Yeah, maybe go inside. Yeah, let's go inside. Let's go inside so we can talk.
Kêu tắt nhạc đây. Kêu tắt nhạc. Rồi tắt nhạc rồi. Nhạc.
Right now we are about 60 officers under where we should be. And so one of my priorities is actually to try to make sure that when you call the police for service that they show up. And so we have 2 academies going through right now, the process. And we're trying to get to at least 60 officers so that when you call, when you have issues that come, that you can actually get a response from the police and from the fire department.
Dạ, thì hiện giờ thì nói chung là ông Abel nói hiện giờ là hiện đang thiếu khoảng 60 cái cảnh sát viên trong khu vực này, là vấn đề mà ông quan tâm là vấn đề an ninh trong khu vực, và ông hy vọng là thời gian tới là Sung ông sẽ cố gắng để làm sao có thêm 60 cảnh sát viên trong khu vực này, để mà khi mình có trường hợp khẩn cấp mình gọi thì họ có thể mà là cái response có thể là đến liền trong thời gian ngắn.
One of the concerns I know that I talked to Mr. Cook about was trying to help the merchants by having turnover in parking around here, because the cars park here all day and there's not a lot of turnover, a lot of parking. So part of BRT, once the bus rapid transit comes up and down here, the city is going to be installing parking meters here in the area so that there's timing, and then there will be more turnover in parking, so people come shop, patronize the businesses, and then move on to somewhere else. And so we're hoping that'll bring more people to the neighborhood here in particular to shop and to patronize the businesses in the community.
Thời gian vừa qua với ông Abel của tôi có trao đổi về cái vấn đề mà cái vấn nạn mà parking trong khu vực này. Tại hiện giờ đó, trong khu vực này trên 2 đường mặt đường này không có những cái parking meter. Có nhiều người lạm dụng gì đó đến đây đậu xe cả ngày. Những người khác cần đến đây để mà ăn phở hay là mua bán này rồi thì cuối cùng không cho đậu xe. Thì nói chung là tương lai ông sẽ gắn những cái parking meter trong khu vực này, có thể là 1 tiếng 2 tiếng đồng hồ để người ta đến, người ta đầu, người ta phải đi chứ người ta không thể hoạt động suốt ngày như vậy được. Và cộng thêm bởi nữa là có cái hệ thống là BRT đó, là rapid là transit, là có những bus sẽ giúp cái vấn đề mà phương tiện di chuyển nó hiệu quả hơn.
We're also the other big thing is our streets and roads. I hate the street. How many people hate our streets and roads? They're pretty bad, huh? Yeah. And so I have good news. As part of the BRT, so all of International is going to get repaved. But we're also fixing 8th Avenue and 8th Street. Those are going to get repaved, as well as Foothill Boulevard from 14th Avenue to 23rd Avenue. So all those streets are scheduled to be repaved early next year. But I want to make sure that the East Lake and San Antonio, that we get our fair share of resources, because we have some pretty bad streets, especially the small streets. And so I've been working really hard to advocate for more money to fix our roads and streets so we don't get those flat tires, mess up our cars, broken axles and such. So I authored Measure KK, and it's going to it provides $350 million for road improvements. And so I want to make sure that we bring that money here. And I've been successful as a council member, delivering resources for our community.
Ông Abel nói nói chung thì giờ những cái đường trên khu vực mình đó là cái tình trạng nó xấu, thì ông sẽ cố gắng ông trận đấu, ông đem đến những khoản tiền để mà sửa chữa những cái đường cho nó đẹp đẽ hơn.
So I'm running again for 4 more years because we know things are slow, but things do get done. And I've been one of the hardest working council members there is. I have more committee assignments, and I'm able to chair the finance committee to bring results and improvements to our district in particular. So I'm honored to represent the most diverse district, and I'd love to have your support. And I'd like to open it up to questions to see how we might be able to better work together in the future as well.
Abel nói thì giờ ông đang thực sự rất là đồng chuyện, rất là cố gắng để mà giúp cho cái khu vực này nó tiến bộ hơn. Bây giờ thì nếu quý vị nào có những cái câu hỏi gì có thể mà hỏi em thì bây giờ.
So any questions?
Have question.
Yeah.
Okay. First.
Chú có hỏi đi, chú từ từ hỏi.
Hỏi trước rồi đó.
Okay.
We need we have Vietnamese community in east side have a little Saigon around here.
Yeah.
That's the island.
Yeah. So another supporter. That's good. So I've actually been working with the chamber in terms of a process of how to make that happen. And so one of the things we agreed on was first to start like organizing a little bit at a time. And the first thing that we talked about working was on the Autumn Moon Festival, which just happened not too long ago. So that was a good first step to try to kind of get the community organized. I suggested that maybe we look at renaming the park to begin with, Clinton Park, as a starter. But I understand that people want to rename the neighborhood. Some people want to rename the neighborhood. And so I want to work with the chamber and the community groups to figure out if there's consensus around that. So there's a lot of different businesses around here, and so I think we need to have a community meeting and figure out what that would look like. In addition to renaming the neighborhood, we want to bring, I'd like to do a business improvement district like we have in other areas of the city, where we have a bid that actually helps clean the streets, takes down graffiti, and helps the community, helps the appearance of the community. That's a long-term goal that I have for the area if the property owners want to be a part of that.
Thì rồi ông Ngọc cũng mới hỏi là chung là ông có một ý kiến ông muốn cái khu vực này á, là được đặt tên là khu Lý Sơn Sài Gòn. Thì ông Abel trả lời thì ông đang làm việc với phòng thương mại Oakland để tiến hành việc đó. Thì việc đầu tiên ông đề nghị đó thì đầu tiên đề nghị là đổi cái tên cái công viên này, công viên Liên Tân Park. Đầu tiên là thành công viên Lý Sơn Sài Gòn trước, thì sau đó thì ông sẽ vận động với nhân hội thành phố để từ để mà cộng thêm là sẽ làm việc chung với những cái cơ sở thương mại xung quanh cái khu vực này, với cộng thêm những cái hội đoàn trong khu vực này để mà có một cái quyết định chung về vấn đề này. Thì hiện giờ trước mắt thì ông đang làm cách nào để mà cho khu vực này nó trở thành tốt hơn. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm willing to work with you on these issues, and there's a lot more that we can do. We know that things take a long time to get done, unfortunately going through the process, but you can count on me to be a partner with you on those issues.
Về tới anh ra chị có hỏi gì không chị? Ngay chỗ phát hiện của anh có ý kiến gì không, vấn đề đóng xe đồ?
Yeah, right now we need we need parking for business.
Right.
You know, some worker they park on street all day, and then the business no parking.
Yeah.
And they double park, jump in to buy something, and get out, get a ticket, right?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Please
So
help, you know, like put a meter on.
Right.
1 hour, minimum 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour.
Maybe 1 hour.
Yeah,
Maximum 1 hour.
Yeah.
maximum 1 hour.
Maximum 1
Yeah.
hour. So that we have
Yeah.
turnover. Parking. 2 hours. Yeah.
2 hours.
Maybe you get your hair done, your nails done. It takes a
Yeah.
little time.
So we can do an SF.
East Pole and International and Avenue.
Yeah. So those parking meters are right now. There's no parking meters over here. So we're going to actually install those parking meters up and down as part of the BRT improvement. So that should help with turnover of the parking, and should help the merchants out.
Yeah, actually, the pole is installed a long time.
Yeah, but they
But
left it
no
there.
meter.
No meter.
No meter at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you
looks-
going to enforce the 2 hours? Are you going to have enough people to enforce it?
So we actually just hired 30 parking meter officers, and they're actually doing a lot more enforcement now. So they would be assigned to this area to make sure that there's turnover in parking. So we're already starting to build that out.
Well, in SF, the residents are issued a permit
Yep.
to park on the streets. You're good 24/7. It's 2 hour parking even without meters. And the enforcement comes by and chalks your tire, and they come back in 2 hours. And if you haven't moved, you get a ticket.
Yeah.
You don't
So
need
we
to
have
be more
that.
revenue getters. You just need to enforce.
We
it.
have that as well here in Oakland, but it's for residential parking permit areas.
Mhm.
And so we actually have different neighborhoods that have permits for parking. And so certainly any neighborhood that wants to have residential parking permit, which you get a little letter on you put a permit on your car that allows you to park in a certain neighborhood. So that's something that we have here, and we can also do that as well. But it has to be a petition from the neighbors to decide that's what they want to do.
Okay. Dạ. Thì vừa nói nói chung là anh Quân vừa nói là nói chung là những người làm thương mại đây, những quán xá đây gặp trở ngại về cái vấn đề parking, là có nhiều người đậu giống như lặp lại những người đậu cả ngày á, thì những người khách đến đây mua đồ nhiều lúc đôi khi phải đậu double parking, là đậu song song, nhảy xuống là những lúc chạy đâu kịp rồi bị tiết kẹt. Đó thì thời gian sắp tới là như ông Abel nói là sẽ cái dự án mà BRT thì nó sẽ gắn song song, là họ sẽ gắn những cái meter với là nếu đậu tối đa tùy theo cái sự quyết định của những người thương gia đây, muốn đậu là maximum tới 2 tiếng đồng hồ hay maximum 1 tiếng đồng hồ có thể là có ví dụ cái này đó.
Ở San Francisco họ có thể đậu 2 tiếng hay họ có cái permit đó, nếu mà đủ người nhưng mà này muốn có cái permit đó thì mình sẽ phải ghi xuống cái decision đó để cho mình muốn đậu ở đây mình có permit đậu cả ngày được, còn không có permit thì không có được, cái đó tùy theo mình.
I know the other issue real quick is I know some of the concerns that I heard from some of the merchants is the graffiti and the tagging. And so I actually secured some money from the city, a grant, to take down graffiti on private property. And so we actually did that here in the East Lake. We took down some graffiti. Cam Wong over there always gets tagged up on top of the brick. We actually got funding to take the graffiti down. The problem is that we need to work with the merchants to enforce it and to report it. Because as soon as it comes up, we need to report it so we can get the DA to prosecute the people who are doing the graffiti. That's part of the problem that we have, is that we're not reporting it. We want to encourage people to actually report it.
Nói về cái khu mình thì giờ là đã gặp cái vấn đề mà người ta đến từ rẽ bảy từ nó đang nói chung là vận động để có một số tài chánh để mà giống như sơn lại những từ, song song không cần cái sự hợp tác của những người mà chủ dân thương mại đây, nhưng mà thấy những cái nào như vậy cũng phải bị có trên cảnh sát để mà nói chung là để cái người mà không cứ viên đây là nói chung là họ nói chung là sẽ phạt những người đó để phải xử lý người đó.
Question, ma'am?
I live at 4th Avenue, and I usually drive at 3rd Avenue, and the street between International and 4th Avenue very lumpy.
Very bad.
Very bad. So we just ask you if you can ask someone to come and fix the street.
Yes. So this is how it works. This is part of my problem that I have. I'll be honest with you. This is my biggest challenge with the East Lake and San Antonio, is that I don't get enough people calling to complain. So I need people to call 311 from your phone. You can ask to speak Vietnamese, English, Spanish, Chinese. But you call 311 to report your bad street, and then that gives me the ability to advocate for more resources for the neighborhood. I have people in other parts of the district that, near the hills and East Lake, by the lake, people call and complain all the time. And so they get more services. But here, and for me as an immigrant in our immigrant communities, a lot of people don't want to interact with government, and they don't want to call in the complaints. So we really need people to call and report, and I've been trying to do more outreach to get people to advocate. So let me tell you what happens. You call, you report it, they say, oh, sorry, you can't do anything, we have a backlog. But then you call me and say, hey, what's your name, ma'am?
My name, Kim Mai.
Miss Kim Mai. So I say, hey, Miss Kim Mai called, how come her street hasn't been fixed yet? And then you give me that information, and I can get on the Public Works Director to advocate to make sure that street gets fixed. So that's how we work together. And the truth of the matter is that everyone is calling to complain about things, but my neighborhood here, we don't get as many complaints, and I need more people to help to report those things to phone number 311 so we can get more services for our area. We're trying to change that. We're trying to change it so that it's no longer complaint-based, but so that we do it proactively. So one of the things that I've been advocating for is if you are maybe an impacted community, if it's more of an immigrant community, if it's a lower income community, then that that you shouldn't have to call in and complain, that we should go out and fix the streets more proactively. So we assign more points to different communities based on the need. And so that's what we're trying to get to now with when we pave the streets. In my district here, in District 2, I'm proud to say we poured 4 million pounds of asphalt. 4 million pounds, but we have a lot more to do, including 4th Street, which is really bad. And so is 8th Street, and so is East 11th. These are all really bad streets that need to get repaved. So I want to work with you on getting those streets fixed.
Bạn tên là Kim Mai.
Kim Mai.
Dạ, Kim Mai thì nói vào Kim Mai là ở cái khu vực gần đường số 4 Avenue đó. Số 3, số 4 này thì bà nói là cái đường khu đó nó bị hư hỏng đúng không?
Dạ.
Hư hỏng thì hư hỏng với bị đổ rác tại do bẩn tại cái bệnh. Thì ông Abel nói thì đầu tiên nói chung là đây thành phố mình có cái số vốn là 311. Mình gọi 311 thì có thể là cần có công việc tiếp việc thì có sẽ gửi tới cái việc mình. Thì đầu tiên là mình nói là mình than phiền về cái giống như đổ rác rồi giống như là cái đường xá hư hỏng này nọ cần city đến để sửa chữa đó, vì lý hay là vẽ bậy bất cứ vấn đề gì mà mình cảm thấy không được thì mình gọi số 311, trong đó có người nói tiếng Việt. Vì lý do gì đó mà họ không đến sửa, không đến mà giống như là làm những việc bà muốn á, thì bà có thể gọi cho ông Abel. Thì ông Abel có lý do để ông đấu tranh cho việc đó, cái vấn đề đó. Thì quan trọng là những cái khu vực á, có nhiều khu vực mà giống như khu vực mình là khu vực cho những người di dân á. Khi mình gặp những cái chuyện gì không đúng là mình sợ, mình ngại gọi cho chính quyền đó. Thì bởi vậy những cái đường xá đây, rác rưởi đây càng lúc nó càng chất đống lên, tại vì mình nói chung á, người dân đây là không có nói chung là không có dám gọi cho chính quyền. Thì vấn đề quan trọng là gọi chính quyền trước, rồi gọi chính quyền không được thì mình sẽ gọi những người dân cử là ông Abel là trong khu vực 2 này, thì ông sẽ không có lý do để mà ông sẽ là thúc đẩy nói thành phố tại sao có người gọi complain mà tại sao mấy ông không đến sửa chữa, mấy ông đến không rác, mấy ông không đến là đại khái mà bôi cái vẻ bậy này cái như vậy.
Trên núi hay bên hồ Chiên họ gọi
hoài.
Ở mình thấy nó sạch sẽ, thì họ gọi năng con chim mình nó mình ngại thì ông mới người ta gọi.
Tôi nói tiếng Việt để cho dịch lại nó nhiều nghĩa hơn. Cái vùng này rất là quan trọng chỗ nào? Hàng năm có nhiều lần bị cướp, bị giật, rồi bị đánh, rồi giật tiền bạc bóp của người ta. Các chợ đây, các cái tiệm buôn bán đây đều bị hết. Từ đường 13, 14, 15 thì xuống đây rất nhiều lần, chứ không phải là 1 hay 2 lần trên. Vì cái này là rất là quan trọng, yêu cầu là phải có camera dọc tất cả cái khu này hết cái phần đó. Bây giờ có cảnh sát nhiều, cảnh sát đi chỗ khác, khi đi giật thì đâu có cảnh sát gì cái đó. Very important.
They're saying this community over the years experiences multiple cases of theft and harassment, and every single business person here and resident has experienced not just once or twice, but it's actually part of the culture here. And even if there's more police officers here, when we call, the incident's already occurred, and by the time they come here, if they come here at all, there's nothing to be done about it. So he's suggesting that you put cameras in here or around here so that it can deter petty crime.
Definitely. So burglaries and robberies is a big deal for me, and let me explain the way it works and why it's important that you report it. I know the fish bait tackle place got robbed here. I think you introduced me to the owner. Different places get robbed, right? Have been robbed, and a lot of people have been robbed. But we need you to report it. A lot of people don't report it when something happens, but we need you to report it because, on TV, you call the police, they show up, they hurry up, get here, they catch the bad guy, right? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The way it works is that, like, most of the time, because we are down in the number of officers that we have, they're running around from call to call. So if something happens, if it's in progress, they try to get out here. But if already happened after the fact, it's a lower priority, but they still come out to take a report. What they do is they try to track, get information and evidence and put it together. And they have investigators that go out there and investigate. So most recently in Chinatown, we had 7 people. They get them. They will get them and arrest them and prosecute them. And so that's really what we want to work with the community on. I will say that in Chinatown, we've been able to get walking officers. I want to work with you all to have an officer walk around here, walking officers walk around here and get to know and visit all of you. And I need your help to bring those resources here. And so I'd like to figure out how we can do that together so that we have walking officers in the neighborhood so you get to know them, you know who the neighborhood officers are for the neighborhood.
Thì ông nói rằng bình thường á, mình nghĩ rằng giống như khi mình coi trong TV á, mình bị cướp á, mình gọi cảnh sát họ đến ngay. Nhưng mình đáng ra ông nói rằng mình phải gọi cảnh sát để cho họ đến, họ làm cái report đó, xong từ đó mấy tuần, trong một tuần đó họ sẽ kiếm người mà làm cái chuyện đó. Nhưng mà cái khu vực mình đó mình không có dám gọi, thì ông nói trở về lại mình phải gọi chuyện mà khi họ vẽ lên tường hay là họ đổ rác hay là họ cướp mình phải gọi. Thì từ cái đó ra thì cảnh sát đó sẽ đến cái khu vực này để cho đi bộ vòng vòng để cho họ không có làm phiền mình. Còn mà không á thì ông không có lý do để cho gọi thành phố để cho đem những cái quyền lợi đó đến cho cái khu vực của mình. Thì từ đó mình có thể coi nó có thay đổi hay sao, xong mình có thể suy nghĩ mình cần mấy cái team, nhưng mà nó bắt đầu cái gốc của cái vấn đề này là mình không có gọi, thì phải đổi cái cách mà mình liên hệ đi.
So in terms of cameras, I know some businesses have cameras, and we want to encourage people, private property owners, to put up cameras. We can also have your cameras registered to the police department. Okay, I'll give you another example. Yesterday on Lakeshore Avenue, I had somebody set a fire in front of a Jewish deli. And they set up a fire early in the morning, and I think they were trying to burn the business. And so, you know, there's a lot of hate crimes happening against ethnic people and different religious groups. But OPD did not get there. The fire department came, put out the fire, and then OPD showed up several hours later, but they were able to get the camera footage from Starbucks and from a lot of other businesses, and they just arrested the guy this morning who set the fire.
Wow.
So that's why it's important to report things, and it's important to have the cameras. In Chinatown, I just got a grant for $75,000 for that community to put up cameras and improve lighting. And if we work together, those are the things that we can advocate here with the chamber to get a grant to the chamber so you can work with the businesses and the merchants to put up cameras in the neighborhood. But if you already have cameras, we want to get your cameras registered to the city so that when something happens, they can go to Lynn's business and say, Lynn, you have a camera registered? There was a crime at La Estrellita across the street. Can we see your video footage of the car maybe getting away? And that's how we sort of work together to deal with the robberies.
How do you do that? Because I have outside cameras now because I've only been here for 3 months and had a pretty rough run.
Yeah.
And I actually caught one of the neighbors throwing garbage out at 11:08 at night, and I went and called her on it.
Good.
And she's like, well, it's just a little bit of garbage.
No.
I was like, no, it's still freaking garbage, and I gotta pick it up.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
I called her out.
Good.
This is ridiculous.
Thank you for
I'm
doing
doing
that.
this over here on East 11th. That's a really good business, industrial people over there.
Right.
And they all know I have cameras now.
Yep.
And I got really good cameras. I want to register them with OPD.
Perfect.
Because, like I say, I've only been here since August 1st. My truck's been stolen. I almost got broken into, and I've been tagged twice.
Yep.
And I don't put up with it.
Yep.
And a lot of us don't put up with that. And like we're saying, you're adding 60 more police officers. That's not even close to the fallout of what you guys have had. And you're losing 10, 20-year veterans because of the policies. It's ridiculous. The guys, their hands are tied. They can't do anything. I was 12 hours on a response over there. And he's like, well, just arm yourself up. I'm like, hey, no problem. Just for me to conceal and carry, I'll help out keep this place clean.
Yeah.
We got to take it back ourselves.
Yeah.
The cops are so understaffed, and the Oakland's city policies are horrible for these guys. They don't even want to go out and do the right job because they know they're going to get in trouble for it. It comes down to the Oakland's policies on the cops.
But let me say just straight
We can
out.
have a long discussion about
Let me
this.
say that straight out though, Oakland is a lot safer now than it was 5 years ago. Robberies are down, homicides are down, so it's safer. And it's not just because we arrest our way out of it, but we're actually trying to do more to
Community
deter
involvement.
crime, community involvement, and deter crime from happening in the first place. We know that the police can't be everywhere, all over the place. That's why it's up to us to take care of one another as a community. And so I'm proud to be endorsed by public safety because public safety is a big concern for my residents. And so I will always support merchants and community and making sure that you get the services that you need.
Thì ông nói là những người mà đã có mấy cái máy camera có thể ghi danh cho cảnh sát, như cảnh sát thì có chuyện gì thì họ coi lại cái phim đó và họ kiếm những người mà làm cái chuyện đó. Còn cái ông này ông mới mua cái này tháng 8 đó, ông nói ông đã bị xe cướp vẽ vậy, nhưng mà còn ông kêu người ta đừng có đổ rác, nhưng mà ông nói rằng mình nên làm thế nào để cho hoạt động để cho mình là bắt buộc cảnh sát cũng như bắt những người mà làm chuyện đó. Nhưng mà ông Cao nói cái điểm mạnh của mình đó là khi mình làm hợp tác cùng với nhau, không phải chỉ là có chuyện gì gọi cảnh sát, nhưng mà mình phải nói chuyện với nhau và giúp đỡ với nhau. Rồi tôi nghĩ là nếu mà mình từ đây tới những tháng những năm tới mình làm cái Little Sài Gòn á, còn nhiều người á sẽ muốn chưa biết về những người mà làm ăn ở đây thì cái đó cũng sẽ giúp cho mình không có nhiều cướp giật hay là đổ rác như vậy. So I was just saying that obviously this community has had a lot of experiences with trumping and crime, but the strength has been working together. And from the festival that we had to the idea of renaming the park, all those things are opportunities for us to get to know one another as neighbors and work together so that we're not reliant on police, because our strength is in our commitment to the community.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Any other questions or comments? Or let me just say, I purposely put my campaign office on International Boulevard, my campaign office headquarters of 16th International, because I want to show my commitment to the neighborhood. I spend a lot of time here, up and down the streets in the neighborhood, and you will have my continued commitment if I get reelected to continue to work with you on these issues. For me, as someone who comes from an immigrant family, the issues of our community are near and dear to my heart, and so I know what that's about, and I would really appreciate your continued support. I'm not someone who just talks. I'm someone who gets the job done. I roll up my sleeves. I'm out there picking up garbage. I'm out there picking up trash myself. I'm reporting things. I visit many of the businesses here, and I really appreciate your continued support. Things don't happen really quickly, but I do get things done. And I have a proven track record of getting things done, so I'd appreciate your continued support.
Mr. Abel, can you enforce the code, city code about illegal camping?
Yeah.
Because it look bad and
Right.
see for our business here and for the lake.
Right.
People come to our lake for what? For a nice beautiful lake.
So last
Okay.
week, so that's part of the strategy is to two-prong. One, the people that are camping out, we're trying to move people from the lake into the community cabins, out of the streets, into tents. And then after they move out, enforce the no camping ordinance so that people aren't camping out there. That parcel on East 12th is going to be slated for construction pretty soon. It's going to have 300 units of housing, 30% affordable. And so we're trying to get the residents. We just opened up another shelter actually for 100 people at St. Vincent de Paul. So we're trying to get people to move out of camping in public and moving people into shelters and other services and housing eventually. Some people don't want to leave, they refuse. But at some point we have to say, we can't have you here anymore.
Yeah, because of that, and we have a lot of trash lately.
Yeah.
Too much trash for our property, and I know she own property, and my friend here own property. My name is Trick. Yeah, around here, she own property right here, and I own property right here.
Yeah.
Literally, we have so much trash
Yeah.
because of the illegal camper. Yeah.
Right.
So just enforce the code. Yeah.
Even
Definitely.
OPD doesn't even want to go into these encampments. I've talked to a lot of the guys, and they're like, "We're not going in there. You know, it's just as nasty."
Well,
So we have trash pickup that we do go out, and there's a schedule actually where the encampments are to provide hygiene and trash pickup services. So that actually happens. Probably not as fast as you would like, but it does happen where people go and pick up the trash. And there is, what happens is that once there's garbage pile right there, then other people start throwing more garbage and garbage. And so we want to try to get people to report it to 311 as well when you see those piles of garbage, so that it can get cleaned up immediately. If they don't clean it up in 2 days, call me, something's wrong. I will get on them to make sure they get out here and do their job.
Thank you.
And also, the mayor, 10 days ago, she just brought in 9 employees.
Oh yeah, so that's the other big piece, is the
That's the
prevention
prevention.
piece, is trying to help prevent people from becoming homeless to begin with. So if you're falling behind your rent, you get sick, or something happens, the city has a fund now of $9 million to help people from becoming homeless to begin with. And so that's another prevention tool.
Hai tuần trước á, là thị trưởng của Oakland mới nhận được 9 triệu đồng quỹ tiền á, để cho giúp những người mà sắp bị đuổi ra nhà á, giúp họ ở trong nhà. Và những người mà ở không ở bên ngoài á, họ không có đủ tiền để ở trong nhà, và cuối cùng có họ phải ở trong xe ở ngoài. Thì cái tiền đó sẽ giúp để cho càng ngày không có thấy nhiều người ở trên gần và đổ rác và làm tắc chuyện đó. Thì cái vấn đề quan trọng đó là mình làm thế nào cho nhiều người đó họ có thể ở trong Oakland, họ ở trong nhà thì không được thì họ đi ra ngoài, thì họ đang từ từ như những người mà ở trên đường ấy, vô những cái nhà nhỏ bây giờ giúp họ chuyển từ không đất.
I have a question. There are a lot of. I am concerned with the public safety on the sidewalk. For our each side, they have too many potholes. Kids can drop the feet under and break the leg. You know, a lot of problems sidewalk. The big tree lift up the sidewalk so high, and it's too dangerous for people to walk. And I try to call city all the time.
Yeah,
And
you call 311?
not report to.
So report it to 311, use a cell phone or use your landline, report it to 311, and then follow up with us. We will follow up. Actually, this is Victor Flores.
Yeah.
Victor is responsible for this area for my office.
Yeah.
So he can work with you to follow up with the city to say, how come this hasn't done? He's my constituent liaison for the neighborhood. So he's out here as well, and he can work with you to make sure that those issues get taken care of.
This is inform how we can continue for you for the last phase of
Okay.
polling.
Right. So, as you guys know, we're already 10 days away from election day, and we need all the help that we can get, especially reaching out to the Vietnamese community, because obviously I can't speak Vietnamese about the community, but we want to make sure we reach out to every single person, because their voice matters, and we want to make sure they're not being ignored. So if any of you guys can provide us with assistance reaching out to Vietnamese-speaking voters and constituents, we would be more than grateful and appreciative for that help. We're doing phone banking, canvassing, now we've got texting, so anything that you guys can do to help us, make sure we reach out to them, we would really appreciate it.
Thì mình chỉ còn 10 ngày nữa đến giờ để cho bỏ phiếu, thì ông nói rằng mình có câu hỏi để cho gọi những người mà ở trong khu vực này để cho họ bỏ phiếu cho Abel. Thì ở trong cái campaign của ông, họ có nhiều cái giấy cho những người mà nói tiếng Việt á, thì tuần tới tại mình chỉ còn 10 ngày nữa, mình có thể chọn 1 ngày hay 2 ngày ấy, mình ngồi xong mình thay gọi cho những người, xong rồi xin họ đi bỏ phiếu, và anh này có cái địa chỉ có chỗ để cho bỏ phiếu.
Yes. And our office is on 16th International, right there on the corner, so you can come anytime.
1634.
1601.
1601.
Right on the corner.
Cho Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce is letting us use his office.
I want to go back to the camera issue. I think it's very important. It's a big part of the solution, but it has to be with the city cameras, not the house camera, because they're not going to be deterred with a house camera. It has to be city camera. You know those things that they really see it, because and you guys can come in solution over there. Like we can put some of the money, like probably half of it if it's too expensive, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna put their own cameras, because first of all, it's gonna be expensive, and then the people is not deterred to do whatever they have to do. Only with the cameras from the real police, those are the good cameras.
Yeah, but police
Because
doesn't monitor the
connected
cameras.
Oh, they-
connected to the city.
Yeah, unfortunately,
They just put it
that's
there.
a great idea.
They
The
just put it
city
there, but
doesn't have
they don't
the
look at it.
wherewithal to monitor cameras right now. And there's a lot of resistance to that.
Cameras.
So the easiest way to do it is to register your cameras with OPD. And when something happens, then OPD can go to your residence and track down the information and work with you to do it. I'm certainly willing to explore that, but the city does not monitor the cameras in a good way. Yeah, a lot of those are private property cameras.
Yeah, the city doesn't monitor them. ADT monitor, I monitor them. And ADT,
Right.
if I get broken into, OPD needs a video verification before they'll come out.
Yeah.
So I have a good portion of the polling places for East Lake and San Antonio. This is just the location because the way the precincts are kind of broken up. It'll be more helpful if you guys can provide the address and we can tell you specifically, but these are the locations. Yes. Yes. These are.
Dạ, thì ở đây ông có cái địa chỉ cho những cái chỗ mà cái đi bỏ phiếu xong. Dạ, mua về mua.
I can print them out. I just
I
wasn't
think-
sure
I
if
think we
everybody wanted
recall
We
it.
can take a
Yeah.
picture and
We can
send
record
it
it.
to.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for coming. Thank you so much for hosting and for my opponents. But if you want someone who can get things done, if you want someone who knows how to find the money to deliver projects, you get to vote for 3 people in this race. I ask you to vote for me for number 1 in your choice. I'm the third one, the ballot. I'm the council member. Vote for me number 1. And you don't have to vote for 3 people. You can only vote for 1 person if you want. But if you want that to continue Oakland moving forward, I would appreciate your support. And I want to say thank you, Lynn, for your support, and thank you so much for your support as well. I really appreciate it. I know it's frustrating working with the city, but I know together we can get things done. So thank you all so much for being here. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and then I'll be around if you have other questions.
Yeah, give it a hand. Thank you.
I'm good. I gotta actually go back to work. I got customers dropping by. Well, I almost got broken into and my truck.
You just moved to Oakland, huh? You moved to Oakland, right? Yeah.
Well,
Tony, you have a door hanger?
I was in San Leandro. I moved my shop
Oh,
over
okay.
here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I've been in Oakland a long time.
Yeah, I've been up here for a while.
Yes.
And we had a phone number. You can call me. I call you because I want to. Because I have
Stop over. I got all my numbers over there. I'll give you a card. We'll get exchange numbers. Because, I know all your talents.
Okay, that's it.
Quan trọng nhất là nó là cái mà quan trọng nhất là phải có cái cướp và cái chuyển xuống
Cái đó là do hàng xóm của mình á, nơi mà mình á, mấy chỗ du lịch họ phải có. Nhà ta phải có hết.
thường thường chính phủ nó có
Phải có
thấy mà
cái an ninh này trên hết.
kiện quán nào cũng cướp hết.
Phải không?
Hai chục hút đấy.
Dạ.
Mét là nhỏ quá thì lăn nổi thôi.
Dạ.